Nia. She's got a notepad and everything, so she's ready to go.
About how many people have you interviewed?
A lot. Let's see. I'm going to say, if I had to, wow, it's definitely hundreds. I don't know if I could go as far as saying thousands, but maybe. There's over 20, let's see, over 30 years. Yeah, it's probably, I would say hundreds and hundreds.
What do you like best and least about your job?
I like writing about sports because I've always been interested in sports, and it's a lot of fun to just cover something. If you can find a job that's you're gonna like for a long time, make sure you're doing something that involves things that interest you. And what I like least about the job are deadlines. Deadlines are every day. You have a certain time that you have to be done by. And if you're not done in time, you might not even get your story in the newspaper. So you can make people very mad at you when you miss deadlines. And even if they're your friends in the office, they will yell at you and throw things at you and stuff like that. So.
And you guys know about deadlines because you have deadlines for homework and for schoolwork. So see, your whole life you're going to need deadlines.
What was your most favorite interview?
Another very good question. Who came up with these questions? Wow, very good job. You guys are good reporters already. My favorite interview, well, my favorite athlete that I got to interview was Magic Johnson, because I grew up in LA and I'm a Lakers fan. And Magic was the type of guy that just by being near him, it made you smile. He still is a very dynamic personality. I would say that was probably my favorite interview.
Have you interviewed anyone famous or who has become famous?
I've interviewed many famous people in sports, not so much actors or actresses, but many famous athletes. I'm just trying to, well, because I interviewed so many people so many years ago and don't do as many now, they might not be people that you might all know. I'm trying to think, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is one of the greatest players in NBA history. Jack Nicklaus, who I said before. I actually covered a Tiger Woods golf tournament when he was in high school. That's how far back my career goes. But I never interviewed him once he became famous. But that's another thing that I really gain appreciation for in my job, talking to kids basically in high school, or in this case, in elementary school, and seeing them go on to do great things. You can appreciate it so much more when you know where somebody has come from, and it's very rewarding.
When did you decide you wanted to become a reporter, and what did you need to study in college to become one?
I decided to become a reporter when, in my first year of college, I just started working for the school paper for no good reason, other than I wanted to write about sports. And I'm sorry, and really, it's a lot more than writing. You really have to learn a lot of different things. One of the requirements in college for a journalism degree is that you have what they call a collateral field. You have another degree in another area of study, because they want you to have a very broad education. They want you to learn about as many different things as you can, because you really have to know more than just, say, sports, if you're covering sports, to be a good reporter or editor or journalist.
What are some of your accomplishments?
As a reporter, I'm guessing what this question is. In college, I won an award for a contest we had where they took all of us and brought us to something similar to this, and we had to think of questions to ask, and then we had an hour to write a story. So nobody knew what we were writing about, and we had to figure out what was the most interesting part of the story and write it very quickly. And I think there were about 300 college students, and I finished third. So I was happy about that and proud. And other accomplishments, really, they're not awards, but they're just stories that I was really proud of. Stories about people that may have come from backgrounds that didn't help them get where they wanted to be, but they still accomplished things. And I think, in a way, it's other people's, writing about other people's accomplishments can be just as rewarding as having them yourself.
Do you work with a partner?
There are about 15 other reporters in our office and 3 or 4 other editors. So we have a pretty good sized team, and we don't really consider each other a definite, we don't work with one person in particular, but we all work together every day.
What about, I'm sorry, what about photographers? Do they work with you?
Yeah, we're actually in a separate office from the rest of the paper, and then the photographers work in the Newark office, whereas we work in Union County. But yeah, we have photographers as well, and videographers, which is a lot more important now than it used to be.
How did you get involved with the Star Legend School?
I was very lucky because when we moved here because my wife got a job at the New York Times, which was a really good job for her, and she now works on the opinion page as a copy editor. Those are the stories that people write, expressing their opinions about politics or things that they think are wrong with the country or things that they think are right. So she got a really good job. We left California and I had no job. So that was a little bit scary. But I talked to somebody at the Star Ledger and I went in for a tryout and it worked out okay.
Are you nervous when you are interviewing people?
Some people make you really nervous and some people make you very relaxed. I talked about interviewing Magic Johnson, and even though he was a famous player who's one of the best players in the NBA, he made me very relaxed because he's always smiling, he's always a fun guy to be around. Then I'm trying to think of a good example, but some coaches can be really mean. They're like, well, I guess I shouldn't use teachers as an example, but any type of job, you'll find people that are nice and people that aren't so nice. And the people that aren't so nice, even whether they're coaches or teachers or city councilmen or vice presidents of some company,